Up to a half of migrants on a so-called caravan along the U.S. border have been permitted to enter the country. The majority of the migrants arrived from Honduras and will now be allowed to apply for asylum. Attorney General Jeff Sessions has ordered an additional 35 assistant U.S. attorneys and 18 immigration judges to the border to deal with the applications. President Trump opposes admitting members of the caravan into the country. On April 30th, the president tweeted the caravan was openly defying the border and U.S. immigration laws. For more on this, we turn tonight to Alexander Main. He's an international policy senior associate at the Center for Economic and Policy Research. Mr. Main, thank you. Appreciate your time tonight. Unpack this for us. The president seems to be using this as a case why we have to have more security at the border. On the other hand, advocates for these people in the caravan are saying we've got to be compassionate as a country. How do you see it?
Well, I think, first of all, this whole caravan has been completely misportrayed by President Trump and by a lot of the media, frankly. They haven't provided very clear information. These migrants who are coming primarily from Central America, from Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, countries that are racked by intense violence, where there's a lot of organized crime, a huge amount of economic problems. They are, in fact, simply seeking asylum in the United States. They're not trying to force their way into the country. They're not storming the border. They're actually following all the rules, pre-existing rules, and simply filing into the center on the U.S. side of the border quite legally to apply for asylum, given that many of them are facing very dangerous circumstances at home.
Did Jeff Sessions, Attorney General, make the right move?
Oh, yeah, I think, to his credit, there was obviously a lot of people that needed to be processed. There were hundreds that arrived at the border. And in order to, deal with that situation, with hundreds of people, sitting there at the border in sort of squalid camps, it made sense to have more judges there to process them. How they'll be dealt with by those judges is another matter.
Is it a bridge too far to come to the conclusion that maybe the United States' involvement in these countries may have created a situation for these people seeking asylum? What about that?
Well, absolutely, and I think that's another piece of vital context that a lot of the media hasn't been giving to this, which is that some of the U.S.'s policies in these countries, and I'd say most notably the war on drugs, the very militarized war on drugs, has created the sort of violent circumstances that are driving these migrants to leave the countries, and we've seen it in recent years with the uptick of U.S. Military and police assistance to these countries that's accompanied increased militarization that's affected all areas of law enforcement, and where we're seeing, particularly in Honduras, now more paramilitary activity. You're also seeing a surge in the amount of people fleeing the country.
What's the end game here? How do you think this is going to end up?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think people are going to kind of address the debate properly in the terms that in this short span of time we've tried to address them.
Yeah.
Looking at some of the root causes, some of the U.S. policy that has sort of spurred the migration phenomenon, and misportraying again this caravan. These are peaceful people that are not attempting to storm the border. There's no need to try to build a wall to keep them out because they're following the rules. They're out in the open here, seeking asylum, and there's no indication that they're doing anything illegal.
Alexander Main, appreciate your time tonight, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ed.